Welcome to a brand new series of Soccer Nostalgia, where over the next 8 weeks we hope to bring for you some great memories of teams, players and terrific goals from the 1970s in particular. And Mick Channon and Alan Ball have been through quite a lot together over the last 20 years, and they are now our resident experts and historians. Mick and Alan, it really is something of a treat, I think, for soccer lovers, isn't it? A chance to turn the clock back and have a look at people like George Best and the great Liverpool sides of the day and individual hat-tricks. I mean, it's lovely stuff, isn't it?
I think it's great. It's great to be able to see Alan Ball again in the flesh, you know. Be involved with... Yeah, I mean, I think that's what football, to me, has always been about. It's been about the characters that have played the game, people that you've not just played with, but played against. And I think that both me and Alan have been very fortunate that we've played with some great players. And above that, some great characters. And that's, for me, has been some of the great memories of the game, for me, that's for sure.
Do you think there are less characters around these days, Alan? I mean, you've played with most of them.
Well, I'm sure there is. I'm being a manager myself now. You try to keep them on the straight and narrow line and possibly overdo it a little bit. I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing these great players, great characters and great games, because it's only now when you sit back you realise how quickly life goes by and how quickly your football life goes by. And to be able to sit back and look at these memories, as I say, I'm really looking forward to it, because there were some great players about in the late 60s, early 70s, and great teams, and a lot of good things went on then.
Well, what I feel is it's not just the Bests and the Laws and the Charltons. I mean, I've played with some great characters like Brian O'Neill and you know, Hughie Fisher and people like that. They've been as much fun, and they're as much a part of the game as anything, because they bring the best out in the great players, and those people are just as important as probably, and I'm sure they're about today, but I think that they got agents and they got managers, and the managers won't let them speak to the press, and so they think, oh, I hadn't better say too much because I'll upset Joe Bloggs, you know, who's also in the team, and consequently they're about, I'm sure they're about, and there must be some great characters about. I'd like to see a bit more of them. You know, just express themselves, just show a little bit more feeling for the game, because the game's great. The game's above anybody. It'll leave us all behind. Well, it has left us all behind, that's for sure. And you know, it'll leave the great players of today behind.
So it's a lovely opportunity we've now got, really, isn't it, to turn the clock back and just enjoy ourselves.
I'm sure people would love watching them. I'm terribly looking forward to it, because as I say, there were some great players about, and they played for fun. And money and, as Mickey says, agents, they weren't heard of, and they were secondary. And the crowds, you know, there was hardly any trouble in the terraces and everything about the game in those days was terrific. And
players belong to the people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I felt that when I played. I felt that you belong to the people. And if you had something to say, you said it. All right, you might drop yourself in the cart now and again. But usually the first thing you say is usually the right thing. But now, you know, you've got to have everything scripted and written out, and, you know, you want the questions prepared for you. Life's not about that. It's about saying what you think, what you feel. And I think both of us have done that, that's for sure.
And we played like that as well. I played with a great free spirit, and so did Mickey. And but we were encouraged to do that in those days, and not so much now. You don't encourage to play free as much as they did in those days, and that's why you'll see some fantastic games and some great players.
Some great goals.
Yeah, great goals.
We were lucky people. We were so lucky.
To be part of a golden era, if you like.
Yeah, I mean, a carefree, you know, we expressed ourselves. We'd done what we felt was right. We didn't have to think, have a look at the bench and say, oh, you know, what we got to play today, what we got to do today.
You didn't play in fear. You played, and you went out and you played with great players. It's a fantastic time, and you know, now it's all too serious, football at this moment in time, and football will suffer because it's too big. The monetary gains are too big, and everything is geared to go that way, and consequently there's fear in the game. In those days there was no fear at all, just great players playing from the heart, entertaining big crowds. Fantastic.
Right, well, let's get on with the action. And you know, the first match we've been enjoying here on Mixed Video is a classic Manchester derby. City against United in the days when, you know, nearly every player was a household name. It's November 1971. The venue is Main Road, Manchester. It's Bell, Somerby and Lee against the likes of Best, Kidd and Charlton. Your commentator, Gerald Sinstadt.
Number 7 here, Mike Somerby. Bell close to him. Tommy O'Neill sticking to his task well and giving away the opening corner in the first 30 seconds. Actually, Tony Dunn it was. Somerby with the corner. And that was Doyle's header. Good, powerful flick, but wide of Stepney's goal. Donachie again. But he might well have scored there. United left an awful lot of responsibility on Stepney. Book. Bell, lovely work by Bell. He's made himself a chance. And Somerby, Stepney covers. Colin Bell. Roy to Best. Morgan calling for that on the right and getting a beautifully judged pass. Now Kidd couldn't give it back to Morgan, who was offside. And there's a free gift for Morgan from Oaks. 15 minutes we've been playing. Best with a chance. Had he but known, he would probably have chested that down and tried a shot. Tony Book. By Book, and he's going to be booked for it. Was Tony Book really thrown off balance by his bad pass that gave the ball away after he'd lost control of it? Gowling picked it up, and as he came through, Book's tackle was certainly timed very late indeed, and Mr. Tinkler no hesitation in taking his name. Doyle's header, Davis. Mellor, Donachie breaking down the left. Intercepted by James. Good work by McElroy. Kidd is free on the left. McElroy must give it to him now. For the foul on Best, but the referee had whistled for the foul on McElroy before it. Francis Lee getting the wall right so that Joe Corrigan, by the far upright, can have a sight of the ball. And now the wall has got to move back, and that of course will change the angles a little bit. They really just have got to go back. Kidd for Charlton. Off the wall, Charlton got a rebound. Best, this is dangerous. Nearly half an hour gone, and George Best explodes into action really for the first time in this game. Manchester City, having been so much in control of this game, suddenly looking as though they're losing their heads a bit when they're put under pressure. Somerby's throw, Lee chasing hard and going over that tackle from James brilliantly. And a great cross! Stepney is injured. He made a brave dive, and so did Wyn Davies. But the credit there was all for Francis Lee. Great determination in his run to the right. And Wyn Davies meeting his cross as it came over and just putting it wide. Best. And Francis Lee is going to be booked for that. And Malcolm Musgrove is being called on, and this is turning into a very expensive football season for Francis Lee, who has said that he will give £50 to charity if he's booked. Well, he was booked last Saturday, and again now, having already been in front of the disciplinary commission this season. And he's suggesting absolutely graphically that it was a dive. Well, Mr. Tinkler was very close to it. From this distance, I must say I've seen worse this season. Boo. Willie Morgan, good dummy, but he's just got himself into more trouble. No, he hasn't. He's made a good cross. And that was Book's header. Charlton, headed off Best. Tony Gunn letting fly. As it happened, it wouldn't have counted, I think. It certainly wouldn't have counted if Brian Kidd had made contact. He was in an offside position, and I suspect that would have been enough to have disallowed the goal in any circumstances. Bobby Charlton. Best. Summerby to Lee. Still Lee holding off the challenge well. Book. And he's made space. Mellor. McElroy to Best. The crowd not liking it because they think that he got Lee booked. Kidd's cross. O'Neill. Best. McElroy! What a day for the young Irishman! And a really beautiful goal it was. Best taking it here and then just checking it as the challenge comes. Now this is the setup, giving it out wide to Kidd. And Kidd's cross comes in, just checked by O'Neill, stopped by Best and put in the net by McElroy. Francis Lee. Chip forward for Bell. That could have been it. Stepney got out well to smother. City have been looking for that move all through this half. Stepney a good save then, when it really mattered. Manchester United leading by 1-0. And no doubt much encouraged by the way they resisted City's initial challenge in the first 25 minutes. Summerby. Davis. Headed away by James. McElroy. Kidd. McElroy couldn't change direction in time. Dowling to Bobby Charlton. Best free on the left. Here he is, put in by a good pass from Charlton. McElroy steps over it and Kidd scores. No trouble. Manchester City in absolute disarray. All starting with that pass from Charlton to Best. McElroy lets it go on, and nobody picking up Kidd at all. Really, Manchester City's defence there virtually non-existent. Brian Kidd, the scorer, his 4th goal of the season, and Manchester City now with a long road to run. Doyle's header. Fine header it was too. Aston couldn't keep the spinning ball in. It was curving away off the top of his foot. Lee. Bell. Davis in the middle. And Doyle. And a good save by Stepney. Doyle has been doing so well with his head today. Somerville. Book. Francis Lee pushing it on for Miller. Lee held back. Penalty. Francis Lee would have been a mite offended if he hadn't got that one. Chance for Francis Lee to score his 7th penalty of the season and bring his total to 14 goals and to put Manchester City back into the game. That's the weight on Lee's shoulders, and it doesn't worry him in the least. Of the second half gone, and a game alive and bubbling with possibilities. Lee, beautiful ball for Bell. Here it is. From the Malcolm Allison songbook. The scoreline, and difficult to hear yourself think above this crowd now. Kidd. Manchester City absolutely rampant now. Somerville! What a game of football this is turning out to be. Wyn Davis. Through the Bell. Miller. O'Neill getting his foot to the ball for a corner. This is hardly the game that Tommy O'Neill came into at the back end of last season, when United won here 4-3 in what was really an academic exercise. This one really matters. Davis got away by Gowling. Dive by Best. Boom! Morgan. Oakes. Somebody needs to cool it down now. This ball needs controlling. Aston. Keane. Best. Best is away. Morgan out here, absolutely unmarked. Corrigan's come off his line and got a foot to it, but Gowling. And off the line by Oakes. Missing once or twice when it mattered earlier on, but what a saviour he was to his side then. Bobby Charlton with the corner. Corrigan's fist. Aston! And it's gone in off someone! Absolute bird adventure by John Aston, and it struck somebody on the way through. It may have been Alan Gowling. He seemed to get the congratulations. Just under 5 minutes to go. City now must find some reserves of energy from somewhere. Summerby. Good shot! Summerby, a magnificent shot, but you will go a long, long way before you'll see a better save than that from Stepney. Stepney there outside his far post, having really produced the save of the match and one of the saves of the season. And he's there again and lost it. Summerby!
So, 3-3 the final score, and Mick, I don't think we really could have started this series any better, could we?
No, it was it was probably one of the best derbies. I mean, I played in several derbies in Manchester, but that was the atmosphere. You could feel the atmosphere there, and the atmosphere on the derbies I found in Manchester was unbelievable. I mean, I played in several derbies here on the south coast, but there it meant so much more to the people. Being an outsider, it didn't mean so much to me. I found to the local lads, to anyone in the Manchester area, it meant so much to them. It was, and the whole city. That it was only thing that mattered was Manchester City or Manchester United.
And the whole of the week before the game, everyone must have just given you no relief from it.
The build-up and the headlines and who was playing in the team, the whole thing was one big build-up. I mean, nothing else mattered. It was the only news of the week. And I mean, at that time, I mean, I came a few years later than that, but I was playing with Colin Bell and a lot of the players that were playing there, Mick Doyle and Tommy Booth and Joe Corrigan, Willie Donaghy, they were all playing. I played in derbies with those, but gee, that was an exceptional Manchester City team, you know. And people keep saying, "Oh, Malcolm Allison, he was a great coach." So how can you coach Summerby, Bell, Lee, Ball, Channon, Keegan? You can't coach people like that. I mean, it must be a coach's dream to get players like that. And then you look at the other side and you see Man United. I mean, Manchester at that time must have been some place to watch football. It must have been exciting just to go out.
And I found the Merseyside derbies, and even looking at that game, as Mick said, you can feel that it's there, that tension. And when I went down to London, I played for Arsenal and Arsenal-Tottenham derbies, and I can remember saying to Brian Kidd as we were kicking in against Tottenham for Arsenal, because we both played there together, I said, not in the same league this, is it, compared to the derbies up north? And he said, no, he said, these are for fun, these down here. Because you get your floaters, you see, over in London. the north of England, you're either one or the other. You're red or you're blue, and that is you for your life. And you take your heart with you when you go to watch those games. And as you can see, when Franny Lee got injured, right? I mean, that to me was terrific. Today he would have gone off, I think. He wouldn't have had the referee.
Got 9.8 from the Russian judge, that's for sure.
The referee wouldn't have had the time or the humour to try to see what he was trying to say, and he would have gone off, Franny. But after that, he went to war, and he brought Man City back into that game.
Yes.
Because that was his passion. Because he's not a Manchester boy, but he's right on the fringes.
He's from
well,
Bolton.
West Orton actually.
Oh, sorry.
And
you're from there, aren't you?
he went to war in that game, and that typified how much it meant to those lads to win a game.
They really just expressed themselves, and once the game settled down, they went out there and they played it their own way. You know, Bestie did his little bit, and Lee went, as Bawley said, went to war. I mean, he wanted so much. There was so much passion, you know, in the way he dived there. I mean, he really felt that he was wrongly done by being booked.
Oh, it was a blood and thunder game. I mean, they give everything they got, but the reason they give everything they got, they had to for the people. The people would not have accepted anything less than everything they possibly had. And I'll tell you something, you can't hide on them Derby games, because the microscope is right on you, and if you don't give it your full Monty for them punters, you are in bother. And that's why those games are fantastic. And that was a great game.
Well, after the break, we'll be having a brief look back at Mick and Alan's illustrious careers, as well as another fascinating match from the 1970s. So join us again in a couple of minutes.
They drink Carling Black Label. I'll just go and ask.
On video, 2 Tom Sharp comedy classics.
This is your wife, Mr. Wilton.
Is this supposed to be some sort of joke?
Griff Rhys-Jones and Mel Smith star in the video Wilt. BAFTA winners David Jason
Collars.
and Ian Richardson in the explosive Porterhouse Blue. Wilt and Porterhouse Blue for sale now at all good video stores.
This car is rather special. It has special wheels with low-profile tires, special paintwork, even on the door mirrors, special seat trim, adjustable steering column, tachometer, even a rear spoiler. And the price? That can't be right.
MC Hammer, rap star and Pepsi drinker. Well, today, we secretly replaced his Pepsi with another cola. Let's see what happens.
Feelings, nothing more than feelings.
Hammer!
Rob.
Graphic from Garnier. Strong on style?
Yes.
Kind on hair?
Yes.
New graphic mousse with micro diffuser. And an original formulation with protective filters to help protect your hair.
Yes.
Super volume, maximum hold. Graphic mousses from Laboratoire Garnier.
And welcome back. Well, Mick and Alan, I'm now going to embarrass you with a few facts and figures about your own illustrious playing careers. Alan Ball, a boy of 66, the young midfield heartbeat of Alf Ramsey's World Cup winning team. He had the greatest day of his career at the tender age of 21. 2 weeks later, he left his first club, Blackpool, to join Everton for a fee of £110,000. There he starred in one of the best midfield units that British soccer has ever seen. Manager Harry Catterick steered the other team in Liverpool to the League Championship, and how they celebrated the night it was clinched at Goodison. Alongside Ball in midfield were two men who've since managed Everton, Howard Kendall and Colin Harvey. Kendall, Harvey, Ball, a trio worthy of the league title. By now, Ball was established as one of the game's more colourful characters. The white boots he wore were typical. And his passion for the game bought him 72 England caps. Arsenal paid a British record of £220,000 for him, and he was quick to repay them with television's fastest ever goal, which he scored in just 13 seconds.
To our right, against Manchester United in their change strip of white with black shorts, as the ball's floated in towards Stapleton, and it'll come to Alan Ball, and Ball has scored!
Then came Southampton and an Indian summer under Laurie McMenemy. Here, Alan Ball teamed up with a man he'd often partnered for England. Ball could always spot the galloping runs of Mick Channon. First-time passes into Wembley's wide-open spaces were tailor-made for Southampton's most popular player. Mick Channon first appeared on the scene as a gangly 16-year-old. The Wiltshire lad became a feared striker.
Maybe Channon's going for another. And it's there! The ball didn't move. Channon bent the ball slightly, and Jennings didn't move for it at all. Osgood's at the far post. Come towards Stokes. Now Channon. Still Channon. Is this the hat-trick?
Southampton's greatest day came in '76 when they shook the soccer world by beating Manchester United in the Cup final.
Channon, nice touch again. Carry on. Oh, look at this. Bobby Stokes. Hit well. Oh, he's there! Stokes has put Southampton in the lead. A great break there for Southampton. And they're all off that Southampton bench. Bobby Stokes, only 5'7" of him.
Mick Channon played his part and was still an England regular. 46 caps between 73 and 77 with 20 goals.
Channon. Brooking. Royal is away on the far side there. Gordon Hill's coming to the middle. Shannon's there too! And goal! Channon!
Of course, there have been other clubs as well as Southampton, Norwich, Newcastle and Manchester City, where he often demonstrated that famous whirling arm.
Watson putting a beautiful ball through for Channon, and Channon to shoot and score!
But he eventually returned to Southampton, where he was best loved. Between them, Channon and Ball played nearly 1,500 league games. Ball hit 170 league goals and made many for his old partner.
And certainly, if they haven't had value for money, it's not been the fault of the players. It's just that the pitch has been too good for everybody. But here's Channon now looking for number 2. That's going to be it.
And it was fitting that Alan Ball played a role in the best of Mick Channon's 231 goals.
Armstrong back to Holmes, who could have well done without it. He's found Keegan. Cassell's to Ball. Cassell's again. Keegan. Ball. Baker. Keegan. Armstrong. Keegan. Channon. You won't see a better goal than that this season. That was marvellous.
Mick, from your point of view, I think most people know your goal-scoring style from the old windmilling arm. Now, how did all that start? When did you start waving the arm?
Do you know what? I don't really know, to be honest with you. It's just one of those things that I think it probably started because I scored a lot of goals on the run. You know, I was often knocked through, and if you're in motion, I mean, you couldn't stop and Peter Lorimer used to put his hands above his head and clap his hands, and Dennis Law used to be stood in the 6-yard box with his arms straight in the air. you know, and usually I was moving, you know, and I think that possibly with running away and that, the only way you could sort of express your pleasure, your joy, you know, I swung my arm, and that was that, really.
That was the...
I'll tell you what, you talk about that, but what always tickled me was, I always wanted to know, how did he wear white boots?
The famous...
That's what I don't understand.
You want to know the truth?
Yeah, the famous white boots. Come on.
Must
I'll
have been
tell you
Reddy's, I'll tell you.
I'll tell you them white boots now. They were Hummel boots, and they went skin, and they still owe me.
Do they really?
Yes, and they're doing well now at the minute. But really, they were Adidas painted.
They told me the cheque was in the post, boy.
They were Adidas painted, I'll tell you.
Were they?
Yeah, and it rained one day. And
That's why they
That's
didn't
why
pay
they
you.
didn't pay me, yeah.
How many games did you wear the white boots for, Alan?
As I say, they were the first time I wore them out, I thought, oh, you've made a ricket here, boy.
Did you get some stick?
Everybody laughed, yeah. Oh, yeah, you got plenty of stick. And then I think Charlie George and Tommy Smith wore some red ones, didn't they?
Yeah.
And I didn't feel so bad then. Then Alan Hinton, and then Colin Todd, I can't remember, he wore them, and they took off. I think they all got paid. I know I didn't.
Didn't you tell me once that the white boots are in a banker's vault or something somewhere? No?
Actually, I gave my white boots to the groundsman at Everton when I left.
Yeah.
Old Sid, and he still got them. I played in a charity game up there about 3 months ago, and he brought them out. Yeah, they're still about.
One interesting fact I think a lot of people won't realise is that you two played together in an England side, I think, something like a dozen times. And during that time, England didn't lose. You never featured together in an England defeat.
That was good.
I didn't know that, but I mean...
Well, it says something
we
about...
were obviously better than we thought, Bally. Simple as that,
Oh, we
you know.
keep telling each other we were.
I was just proud to play for England, you know that.
Yeah.
There's nothing better. I couldn't be a more proud man than to have played for my country, to have captained them. I mean, whatever else happens to me in life, you know, I'll never ever forget that.
I saw two fantastic gentlemen, probably one of the greatest nights of my life, Nat Lofthouse and Tom Finney, a couple of months back at a dinner in London. And they were talking about England days, and Nat Lofthouse summed it all up in one sentence. Well, Finney said, we'd have played for nought for England, wouldn't we, lad? And to me, I couldn't express it anymore. And to pull that white shirt on for your country, being a Lancashire lad myself, very, very proud.
You get goose pimples, you know. When they play the national anthem, I used to sing in the end because I didn't know what to do with myself, and I used to tingle. I don't know about you, but and the crowd would sing, you know, God Save the Queen, and you'd stand there, and I didn't know what to do with myself, and my arms were, all the hairs were standing up on my arms, all two of them, you know, and you know, I thought, oh, I've got to sort of try, you know, and it's there and gone so quick. But I tell you, you don't forget it. No one can experience it unless you've been there. I'm sure Bally has.
No, it's a great feeling, proud feeling, to stand for your national anthem for England.
Well, another great game of the 70s for you yet. Join us after the break for a goal-packed thriller from Old Trafford. See you in a couple of minutes.
Something new has turned up.
Walker's Ruffles, right?
Hey, right.
Take one out. You'll see it's a new type of crisp made up of many little ridges.
Yeah, right.
Eat it. It's a crisp so full of flavor, when you bite it, your senses are dazzled by an explosion of taste.
Yeah. Hey, you know, you got incredible intuition.
And Ruffles are incredible crisps.
Yeah.
Ruffles. More ridges, more taste.
Welcome back, and now to another cracking match, again involving Manchester United. This time their opponents are a West Brom side containing names like Laurie Cunningham and a very young Cyril Regis. It's December 1978. Your commentator, Gerald Sinstadt.
Four-man wall for Bailey's right-hand post. Still not entirely happy that they're in the right place. They've got a fifth man now. Robson. And Batson coming in. Beautifully worked free kick, which took United absolutely by surprise. Bailey there, completely left uncovered as Batson came in onto Robson's cross, and Bailey pleased that the header went wide. Ritchie, good turn, took him well away from Robertson, and he's lost Statham, yes, and crossed well low for McElroy, blocked by Batson. Where is the ball? Referee will have to give a bounce. Very good play here by Ritchie, and when the hard low cross is struck over, McElroy's shot comes back off Batson, and then the ball disappears. Mr. Owen, meanwhile, calling across Wilde and Robertson to cool down some complaining that was going on. And the outcome will be a drop ball. And there could be a fair old scramble here. Absolutely right. Well, Mike Thomas, a Welshman, of course. Chipped in by Brian Greenough and touched over by Gordon. Well, from a little bit of fun there from the rugby scrum, the ball came out to Brian Greenough, who did exactly the right thing. Beautifully controlled chip, and I think it might have dropped under. McQueen on the line, so too is Ritchie, and it's not easy for Gordon there as McElroy prepares to swing it in. Goal, McElroy's corner, the header comes out to Brian Greenough, he sets himself, and that's a goal all the way. Buchan, good jump. McElroy. Channon to Robertson. Statham. Cunningham calling for the ball to feet up the line. Inside instead to Ali Brown. Now out to Cunningham. The booing of the black players. Paid off there, or repaid by Tony Brown. Tony Brown turning up in the penalty area and putting it away with real economy. Cunningham being booed there, but unperturbed, playing the ball in, and Brown turning it first time into the corner, 1-1. So that's Tony Brown on the mark again, as he so often is. He's been a regular scorer over the years against Manchester United. McElroy. Snow falling quite hard. Ritchie for Manchester United. Cunningham. Cunningham again. Past Coppell. Past McCreary. Regis wanting one chipped in. No, it's played in low for him. Back heel for Cantello. What a magnificent goal! What a great goal! This is Cunningham. He'd beaten two men by then. He now slips it in low for Regis. Lovely little back heel. Cantello all on his own, and what a shot! Robertson. Linesman flagging for a foul, referee applies the advantage, and Wilde clears to touch. Well, the game has suddenly exploded with three very good goals indeed. Houston to take the free kick. Over it comes towards McQueen. So it's now 2-2. And McQueen is injured. Houston's free kick, and McQueen given an awful lot of space here. Nobody had picked him up. And no chance for the defenders. Houston. Ritchie. Houston. It's a useful header that Cantello won there. And Albion in a little bit of trouble here. McElroy, good change of feet, and a great goal! What a good goal again! That was beautifully done by Sammy McElroy. Albion trying to football their way out of trouble, eventually lost possession. McElroy changes from left foot to right, and in goes another fine goal. Once again, United with 10 forward. McElroy. Jimmy Greenoff delaying. Buchan has got forward to the edge of the box, and Jimmy Greenoff then gives it straight away. Cantello to Batson. Tony Brown popping up on the right touchline, and a good break here by Robson. 3-3, no, a great save by Bailey. Beautifully engineered break. Tony Brown and Robson quick through the middle, but a good save by the young goalkeeper. Robson. Statham. Cantello's header on, and Tony Brown has scored. The last blow of the first half, surely, struck by Tony Brown. Seemingly fairly innocent ball played in high. Is a good back header here by Cantello, and they come bursting through the ranks there. Tony Brown gets the touch, and Bailey can't keep it out. It's McCreary, bustling, energetic little player in the box. Here's another, Thomas. Now Koppel, Houston to drive it across. Regis, Tony Brown. Cunningham, good sprint, good control. Now he's heading for goal. Just stopped, and Regis lets the shot go, and what a save by Bailey. Regis could scarcely believe it. Great run by Cunningham, and then when he lays it off, or in fact it's blocked by McCreary, Regis lets fly, and look at that for goalkeeping. Houston, Thomas, Ritchie, Brian Greenoff. Quarter of an hour left. Jimmy Greenoff on the ball for Koppel. Jimmy Greenoff again. Thomas's header, and a good save now by Gordon. Thomas close there to getting his first goal for Manchester United. The Greenoff cross, lovely little diving header, and a good save on the bounce from Godden. That's a neat little header from Regis for Cunningham, and if he keeps his head, he'll score. That's another goal worthy of this game. Cunningham put through by Regis. Houston's tackle was too late, and Cunningham's shot leaves Bailey stranded. Two men caught offside, Koppel and Ritchie. McManus from Connors Key, the linesman with the red flag on this side. Robson. Regis again. Oh, and Bailey has thwarted him again. Just watch this left foot. Robson plays it in. Comes back here to Regis. He was perfectly balanced and he hammered it. And Bailey got across again. Thomas resorting to his rugby tactics, but the decision is obstruction, or was it in fact a throw was given again in the end. Koppel. Cunningham letting the ball beat Houston, and he's away again to show that pace and grace and control. Just a nicely weighted little pass for Ali Brown, who's turned inside Brian Greenoff. On for Regis. Magnificent goal. Ali Brown, and then Regis with the deadly finish.
So 3-5, and really a quite remarkable game. Alan, when did you last see goals scored like that?
Well, I can't remember. I think that's possibly one of the greatest games you'll ever see. The goals were of the quality that I don't think you'll ever see again, all in one game. Every single one of them was a fantastic goal. Mick probably appreciate them being a striker far more than me, but the build-ups to them were very good as well. But the actual execution of the finishes were unbelievable.
I think you had a touch of everything, didn't you? You know, I mean, Tony Brown's goals. I mean, he was shooting before goalkeepers had got angles, and yeah. I mean, the first goal for me was the best goal, believe it or not. And probably people would say, oh, there were far better goals than that. Regis's and Cantello's and McElroy's were far better goals. But for me, Tony Brown's first goal, where it's come to him at an angle, and he's just hooked it into the far corner. Now, as a striker, that for me was great. But I mean, they were brilliant goals. We don't see as many goals like that. I wonder why.
In the games we'll see, you don't see any offsides at all. Hardly any offsides, and people are allowed to run at back fours, plays end to end. And people can run with the ball, and people are not pushing up, and so games hardly ever stopped. And there's always action in and around the goal mouth. There's always shots coming in because defenders did go back into the box. Coaches now, as soon as that ball goes out, you've got to fly straight up, and they hold the line, and people then can't quite get in that close to goal for spectacular goals like we saw in that film.
They've gone to Old Trafford, and they've played there as if nothing mattered, did it? They didn't go there to try and contain or keep things tight or get a draw or get a result, as they say these days. They've gone there to play.
Yeah.
Manchester United played their part. They scored 3 good goals. Yeah. And as Mick says, that first goal was a bit special. That was a real striker's goal, opportunist goal. The others were really good strikes at goal.
Great stuff for spectators.
Yeah, and the goalkeepers made 2 or 3 other really good saves as well. Yeah. Could have been any score, really.
Right. You couldn't blame the goalkeeper for any, could you? You know, it was a good players' game, wasn't it? I think if you didn't enjoy that, don't bother turning on for the rest of the show, the rest of the programmes.
No, I think we all enjoyed that. Well, that's it for the first in our series. In weeks to come, we've got Keegan, Osgood and MacDonald, Leeds, Derby and Liverpool. Plenty of memories for Mick and Alan, and you as well, I expect. So join us again next week. Until then, from the 3 of us, it's goodbye.
McElroy to West. Liking it because they think that he got Lee booked. Kids cross, O'Neill, Best, and McElroy! Lee, beautiful ball for Bell, here it is! As McElroy prepares to swing it in. A nicely weighted little pass for Ali Brown, who's turned inside Brian Greenoff. On for Regis. Oh, what a goal!